Hello, I've got Jenny Brown here, and my name is Dennis Ashford. Today we're going to talk about how online teaching became about with Elearntime. So Jenny, can you tell us a bit about how did it start, Elearntime?
Well, it's one of those things that with what's going on, a lot of schools were closed, but even before then, we needed to find, or I wanted to look for a way of supporting students, but doing it from a distance, because I was helping students by tutoring them, but I just felt that it could have been more efficient. So going online was something that I was looking into doing, had tried to start doing. And then when this pandemic started, it just became the logical thing to find out more about, explore more. And I think actually it is going to be the way of the future.
Yeah, I mean, I share some of the things you've said, Jenny, because obviously, I've been teaching for quite a long time myself, a lot of private students, and certainly before the outbreak of COVID-19, and I was looking for a more efficient way to
Yeah,
start online teaching,
I
and that's
agree.
yeah, and so it's been a great opportunity, really, to develop the online tutoring business. Um, can you tell us a bit about, what are the advantages um, of online tuition?
Well, it's been mixed, to be honest. So, advantages include working around the student's timetable, not necessarily just working around mine. It also means that it's with their parents nearby, so they feel quite safe when they're doing their learning, which is also good for me. I can give the parents immediate feedback. So I can tell them exactly what goes on in the lesson and then give them a little bit of advice onto what they needed to do or what the students struggled with, what they worked well on. And it's also just another opportunity just to have that relationship, I suppose, with the parents, with the students. And so it's just created for me a much more rewarding way of teaching. So it's not just rewarding because I'm teaching online and it's very flexible for me and it's very flexible for the student, but it's also quite an engaging process and the students become really quite engaged and the parents become really engaged. And as a teacher, I just find that really, really rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, one of the things that I found quite good about online tuition is that it's really a very efficient way to deliver instruction, if you like.
Agreed.
And, not only, we're saving time for students not having to commute, and ourselves not having to commute, but also the lessons are actually streamlined, and I think
Yeah,
they're sort of better planned and better organized.
yeah,
And
I
there's very little,
agree.
yeah, yeah, and very little wasted time. And just to
Mm,
amplify that, one of my
mm,
students that I was teaching in normal private tuition, when he
mm,
transferred over to online,
yeah,
actually his marks actually improved quite dramatically, because he was more focused. We used a lot more resources.
yeah,
It was more engaging,
yeah.
sort of interactive, more interactive. And
So
it's
did you
kind of
find then
weird.
that the student was just really more engaged and you could manage to get through more things in the same time that you would normally have had?
Absolutely, absolutely. We covered a lot more material, and it was fine tuned and really bespoke to the students' needs. So that particular student now doesn't want to go back to a traditional tuition, because they realise that the power and impact.
Mm.
At the beginning, he was a bit skeptical,
Yeah,
like most people are.
yeah,
But I think once you start it, you begin to see the real advantages. It's just so streamlined. You know,
Great.
when you set homework for students, for example, you know, you set it online straight away. It can be
Yeah.
emailed straight away, or they can access the work on a bit paper, which we use.
Yeah.
So it's really, really efficient, and the parent knows exactly what's going on.
Yes.
And so, you know, I'm quite sure that you and I have had many
Yeah.
situations where we've spent an hour teaching a student, and then another 15 minutes explaining to the parent what we've taught the child.
Absolutely.
Now there's
Absolutely.
no need for that, because the
Yeah.
parent can see exactly what's been taught. They can see
Yes.
exactly what the homework is, and it
Yeah.
saves everybody's time. It's far more
Absolutely.
efficient.
Yeah, I also completely agree with you with that, because I have found that with some of my students, the parents are in the same room while the lessons are going ahead. And so because they have seen the way that you're teaching, that whole, oh, I don't understand how they teach you in school, so I can't help you, that goes out of the window. And the parents are empowered to then help their students with the homework then that you set them, because they've also being able to not participate, but they can see the learning that's happening, so that they can have that dialogue with their own child. And so they feel as part of the learning as the child does. And I just think, again, that's just really, really powerful. I mean, in school, you know, the parents are removed. We obviously communicate with them on the phone, via email, letters, you know, we send messages home to the parents through the students that we teach in the classroom. But the one-to-one online, because it is so bespoke, it does engage the rest of the parents, and then they do feel empowered, and then you've got that hook in terms of
Yes.
learning. And I think that's what another reason why the students' grades also go up a lot
Yeah.
faster, because of that engagement. I think that's incredible. That's
Yeah,
true.
totally agree. And it's bizarre that you think, how can that be? How can it
Yeah.
be teaching remotely or online can be
Yeah.
so effective?
Agreed.
Um, but talking about effectiveness, can you think of any disadvantages for online tuition that you've experienced?
It was really hard to kind of get going, because it's such you feel a bit, you feel as though as soon as you see the word online, oh, it must be something then that I must absorb rather than interact with. And I think a lot of online platforms are ones that you absorb and you don't necessarily do anything with or interact with, whereas this, it is an interaction. So, you know, my first, in terms of disadvantages, I did struggle a little bit with, well, how are we going to do this? And also meeting people online for the first time sometimes can be a little bit awkward. But I think that once you've done it once, and they see that actually the only barrier is the fact that you're talking online, you're still talking to a real person, they still have feelings, you still have the same engagements that you would one-to-one. And once you've got over that barrier, and the other person as well gets over that barrier, I think actually the online, to me, even though it has those slight disadvantages, I was happy to overcome them. And I think the people that I deal with also are happy to overcome them.
Yeah, you know, and I would share what you've said. The only disadvantage that I can sort of think of has been, it's not really a disadvantage, but like anything, when you move from one medium to another medium, it requires a bit of practice, a bit of
Yeah,
training, and a bit of development. And
yeah,
so, you know, for any for any teacher out there that teaches traditionally, if you want to go into
yeah,
online tuition, you know, you need to actually know the rubrics of
yeah.
what's actually involved. And we at Elearntime are quite happy to share, you know, our knowledge with you to
Mm,
help you to move forward, because it
agreed.
is a skill and it does take practice. Um, I don't know, in terms of costing, Jenny, what's the cost for a lesson at
Well,
Elearntime?
Elearntime are amazingly good value for money. It's £15 if you are joining a class, and you still get exactly the same quality of teaching. It's just done in a group. It also means that the students have the same access to the resources, they have the same access to answering questions. Okay, it might be in a slightly different format because there's a group, but they still have access to that expertise. And I think it's actually, again, it's invaluable because it can be used to supplement their learning that they're getting in school, or it can be used as an addition. And then alternatively, if they don't want to do the classes, we do offer one-to-one. And again, those lessons are an hour long. We charge £30 an hour to begin with. But depending on their needs, so if they feel that they needed something like an hour and a half, then again, we're open to negotiation in terms of what is right for the student and the times, because again, with certain times of the year, so at Easter, we know that there is a real big push on assessments for GCSEs. We know that in September, there's a really big push for those who are doing 11 plus, and we know that for SATs again, you know, so we know that the timings of different things change. And so in terms of our costing, I think we're very, very, very good, and we are good value for money for what we offer, considering that we do offer those range of services.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, that's probably right in terms of costings. A lot of parents are looking for tutors, online or otherwise. And it's not always about getting the cheapest tutor, because sometimes it's about quality and it's about value for money.
Yeah.
And if you know, of course, if you're a proper business, you need to have your resources prepared. You need to pay your taxes. You need to do all these things. And so I would be, you know, think twice really if the price was far away from that figure that you mentioned.
But I also think as well, because it's, you know, it's value for money. So we're not just doing a video class. We're not just, you know, even though a lot of the work that we do is video, so they can have a look at it again at a later date. But it is giving value because they are still doing that learning. They are getting that feedback. And as we said earlier, you know, we seem to be able to cover a lot more in the online sessions than we do face to face. And I think all of those things means that actually the students get a better value from getting the online.
Quite. I agree very much. Is there any free lessons at all available?
Absolutely. So as part of our drive, we are offering not only paid lessons in classes and in one-to-one, we're offering free classes. They change periodically, so sometimes they could be math, sometimes they could be in English, sometimes they could be in a different subject, but we will inform all of our customers and anybody who's interested that they can come to any one of their free events. They just have to email us at info@elearntime.co.uk. We will send them information as to when the free sessions are, the times there are, and they're welcome to come. Anyone's welcome to come. And if you need to speak to somebody, again, send us your telephone details on our email and someone will get back to you.
Okay, that's great. I think you've answered, you know, all the questions both together, and I think, you know, certainly we look forward to people emailing us for further information. Thank you very much, Jenny, and thank you to everyone involved.
I think, you know, that it's something that is the future.
Okay, right. So it's bye from me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
Take care.
bye.